Ubisoft canceled a bunch of games. That includes the Prince of Persia remake. Like I said, didn't look all that impressive. And yeah, let's look more into this. What's side scrollers?
There's time in the show for it.
Oh, great. Before we get to today in game.
I underestimated that.
Harry.
It was loud. Has canceled 6 games, including the Sands of Time remake. They also delayed 7 other games to ensure enhanced quality benchmarks are fully met.
Doubt. There is no way they're going to improve anything.
I'm going to be honest.
I mean,
I'm going to tell this is not a Ubisoft decision.
Yeah.
This is a Tencent decision.
Yeah.
Here.
I mean, that's probably why they my guess is they canceled all these games because they were not up to snuff. They might have had some stuff that like people that Tencent did not like, and they said just get rid of them.
With you.
And I think Tencent goes, yo, dog, these games are utter dog shit.
There you go.
And these need to be either scrapped or brought up to standard here. And I think this is actually a great move because Ubisoft's reputation right now, both publicly and from a corporation standpoint, publicly, not good.
I can't remember a single Ubisoft game I played in a long time. I think maybe the last one, like I'm not even joking, is the last Ubisoft game I remember playing probably was Zombie U. Like, and that wasn't when that came out. That might have been like maybe 2 years down the line when that game came out. Fun game. It's just, I'm not a big Ubisoft fan. I don't really care about Assassin's Creed. So, what, Rayman maybe? Oh, wait. No, wait. Oh, that's right. I do have Rayman on the Switch. All right. So Rayman, that's about it.
Not good. But this, we always talk all the time. We say, what is the best thing that Star Wars could do?
Go into stasis. Mm-hmm.
Go away.
Well, go away and pretty much, well, I'd say scorched earth. Fucking decanonize everything they've done so far, but they're not going to do that.
And
we'll get into that.
Make people want what you have to offer. So that's what Ubisoft may be doing here. Just going away, refocusing. It actually says in this article, says the review says, as a larger announcement that has conducted a major organizational and operation portfolio reset. The company also stated that it's conducted a thorough review of its content pipeline over the past 2 months, right? What happened a couple of months ago? The major investment from Tencent, right? So they went in and said, yo, we need to look at this shit. Review led to this decision to, quote, refocus its portfolio, reallocate resources, and comprehensively revise its roadmap over the next 3 years. Ubisoft said the focus will be on, quote, a return to exceptional levels of quality on the open world adventure segment and to, quote, step change the group's position in the games as a service native experience segment here. So,
I feel like this is Tencent telling them this is what they have to do, not so much as what Ubisoft wants to do. Like I said, this is Tencent's decision. Tencent does not care about the representation crap, I don't believe, or any of this shit. It's a Chinese company. They care about making money, and they know what makes these. A lot of these Chinese companies do know what makes money, and they're not stupid. They know this, like any of this representation, DEI, all that crap isn't flying. So they're pretty much saying it seems like they're just saying, yeah, get rid of this stuff. You need to refocus where this company is.
6 games, the 6 games that have been canned have not been announced really. And so there you go. Kay, I would love to hear your thoughts on this.
So what I'm getting from your perspective is you think they're going to take a breather. They were spinning too many plates and they're going to just like hyper focus on a few properties that they think will drive revenue for them. And they'll create like strong games in it, which by the sounds of it would be their more open world, like their Assassin's Creeds, their Far Cries, that kind of thing. Yeah. I view this as like end times for Ubisoft. I think that if you're canceling 7 projects and one of them being Sands of Time, which would be a moneymaker just on the name alone.
I don't think she saw what the screenshots were of that game. It didn't look that impressive, honestly. at all. Like I said, I think even Craig kind of more said this was not their decision. This was Tencent because it probably did not look very good. They need to change these things up.
I think they're in deep trouble. There's going to be huge layoffs soon. They're going to find out they've got a lot of redundancies.
That's going to be inevitable.
And they might even start panning off more of those IPs to other companies. I think this is a big bad thing for Ubisoft, and you know what? They deserve it for all the crap that they've done. I don't see this as a positive at all for the company itself. I don't think this is going to be a refocus effort. I think they're using it as an excuse to make it be like,
well, I think the firing, any layoffs and whatnot are a refocus. Again, they have to clean house.
nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. Everyone loves Shadows. Everyone loves what we're doing. Don't worry. But in reality, I think there's going to be huge axing. I think that they're...
Oh, there will be.
I think they're going to be like extinct in the next like 5 years.
I hard disagree. I think that people will look back on this moment right here where they're reallocating. I do think there's going to be cuts. I do think that there will be layoffs.
Huge cuts. Middle management gone.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that they listen, when you have an investment of what was it, $1 billion or whatever was put into them by Tencent, like when that money goes in, that money was put in so they could make this change, because Tencent's not going to invest in a company that they don't see returns on, right? And they're putting their money and their business imprint on Ubisoft now, saying, yo, dog, this ain't cutting it. We got to up the quality, and ultimately that quality will ultimately lead to better results.
That's what I think it's headed. Well, I've said it before. I mean, they're just good. They have to get rid of a lot of stuff.
I think people will look back on this day in 3 years from now when these things, when we start.
It's cleaning house. There you go. That's pretty much what I wanted to get across. It's cleaning house.
I honestly think that this will help turn the tide for Ubisoft, as opposed to you thinking that it will ultimately end the company.
I'm so intrigued to see the result because we're so opposite on this news. I just think they're fronting completely, but I see your perspective and I see where you're coming from. It's just, I think Ubisoft has just dug too deep into this, and there's not going to be enough money for them to sustain them.
But again, this is Tencent putting that money in. Again, Craig said this before. This is not Ubisoft's decision. This is Tencent telling them, you need to change this up. If you're gonna, we're putting this much money, you're getting rid of these games. They're most likely gonna say, yeah, you need to fire these people. You need to get rid of these certain people. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if like Tencent says, yeah, you're bringing these developers in. I don't know if they have that power, but like, I don't think like Tencent developers, really have a biasy or any type of these agendas and whatnot. And I honestly would not be surprised if that was if that's intentional as well.
For them to be able to move forward. And you're canceling 7 projects was the number? That's insane.
6 and 7 delays.
But we don't know how far those projects were. Honestly, if we didn't know what some of those were, they may not have been that far ahead.
6. Yeah, that's insane.
So just as a heads up, as of today, January 21st, 2026, according to published Obsidian, there's already been 850 people laid off in the gaming industry in the last 21 days.
Yeah, and like I said, I think there'll be lots of cuts when it comes to Ubisoft. Phoenix, what do you think of this?
That's just it. That's just how gaming is. The gaming industry is now. It's just they're not making as much money. It's making a lot of money, but not enough. At least not enough for all these bloated all these bloated numbers of people who are working on these projects.
This one's kind of hard to say because K historically, I would say, is more accurate, but I'm also leaning toward, I hate to be the fence sitter here, but I kind of am. But Craig, I think especially with Tencent being in there, I don't see them, I see them wanting them to succeed and not to axe them. So I think these would be moves in order to get everything back on track. I'm kind of in the...
Yeah, there's they make no money. They make no money on, they make no money on closing down these things, but they know they have, or at least not initially. They might realize they have to get rid of a lot of these things, these projects and whatnot, or just restart them or cancel them, restart them. That's what they're probably doing. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling at this point.
The middle. I'm going to lean more towards Craig on this one, but history is on Kay's side.
Here's the thing. Craig is thinking...
But again, we're going through investment. I still feel like Kay's kind of missing the investment part of Tencent being around.
looking at a business sense, and I get that too, and I'm trying to pull myself out of that a little bit, because the way that like me or Craig might work a business and see like the scenario they're in and how to fix it, I think there is an opportunity to fix Ubisoft and actually get it to a point where they're highly successful. So I think Craig is looking at it from a perspective of like, if I were in the shoes of this is what I would do, and this is a signal of this is what they're also doing. But I'm looking at the gaming industry, and there's no patience in the gaming industry, and I think that they're not going to generate enough revenue, and I think Tencent's going to get impatient and be like, we're done, and Ubisoft is just going to disperse all their IPs and be done.
Let me tell you exactly why this was driven by Tencent, right? Tencent, and this lines up perfectly what they said. They said they've been looking at this for the last 2 months, right? Well, Tencent invested you don't invest $1.25 billion into something with the intention of it going belly up, right? So
Tencent's more or less in control of Ubisoft. That has to, I mean, that's pretty much is what it is.
Tencent invested $1.25 billion in Vantage Studios. Now, remember, this is the spinoff from Ubisoft here that's going to focus on Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Rainbow Six. Okay. The transaction closed November 21st, 2025, 2 months ago. So when this transaction closed and that money was put in, Tencent then came down and said, yo, dog, we own 26% of your company now. We are going to have a say in how this thing runs. And
they have to.
This 1.25 billion.
You don't put that much money and expect to not have a say in how this studio is run. 33%, or was it 30%? Whatever the fuck. 26.32%. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Dollars is with the intention. This investment was put in with the intention of letting them float for a little bit longer and focusing on excellence. I think this is going to be a great thing for Ubisoft, personally.
I mean, yeah, maybe, because they're gonna. Tencent, a lot of Chinese companies seem more fixated on making quality. I could go into a big conspiracy theory about this, I suppose with DEI and whatnot, but we're not going to get into that. But I wouldn't be surprised if Tencent somehow tries to get more into this. Tries to get more in a bigger percentage into Ubisoft, though.
But maybe that's just me being optimistic. But when you have a Chinese company investing that much money, they are not in it for this to fail. And it's not like I don't see them pulling out. Like, let's be real, nothing that Tencent has it invested in has failed. They've been wildly successful, and
they're gonna have a say, obviously. Like,
think that ultimately this, and people say, well, like, I'm white pilling here or whatever.
I mean, like I said, and what I said before, I would not be surprised if they like start getting buying more stock or more like, I guess, more into Ubisoft, and dare I say even suggest to bring on some of their developers or some developers because again, they're going to be nose to the grind. They're going to get the stuff. They're going to get the job done. They have none of these, I guess, any type of politics or whatever. They're just get to work. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't even know if they even have the ability to do that, but you never know.
This could lead to a golden era for Ubisoft. And I know that's a crazy statement for a lot of people, especially given how hard we've been on
golden era, if not the beginning of the end in terms of within the company. It's going to be a shell of its former self.
On Ubisoft and what a laughing stock they've been, but you can't go much further down than where they're at, right? You can only go up. And I think this is the best course of action for a company.
For their sake, I hope they do.
Personally.
I mean, if they are going to go forward with that, then they're cleaning house completely. There's not enough development skill within this team currently to actually build something of quality. Like, they keep piling on like all these diversity incentives and everything. There are people that don't know how to do proper work in that company anymore. So I think that they would completely wreck house. They would clean everything out, and it wouldn't be the Ubisoft that we know of today or that we've known for the past 10 years. If they do succeed. So is that even really still Ubisoft at this point? I don't know. It's really just, will the
probably in name only, or it could be a wake-up call for some of these developers that they need the people that work at there. They need to They need to get to work. They need to drop all the identity politics and crap and just do a fucking job. Finish the goddamn game.
Name survive or not at this point, and I'm in the camp of no, it makes more sense to disperse things and just get your money from the IPs themselves rather than actually trying to fix the team.
Well,
Quick question for Kay. Can I ask for a quick Kay, let's assume you're right. What's your timeline for them?
I think within 5 years. I think that's even being generous. Things be less than that. The world moves a lot faster now. I'm being very gracious with that timeline. I think within 5 years, but probably more like 2.
I think within that timeline, Ubisoft won't go away, but like I said, Tencent could probably get their own developers within those teams, and so it's kind of essentially eaten within the company is eaten within its side. They probably still keep the name because, despite what you may think, Ubisoft does have some like what's it called? I guess some value in its name, but that team is no longer the team that is now.
I very much disagree. But I understand the pessimism associated with it. I think when it goes to, you say, like, will the Ubisoft team be the same? No, it won't, right?
No.
But look at any sort of video game company, or let's just use a sports team as an example.
That is true, actually, because even like BioWare is completely not even the same. A lot of these developers do not have the same people. The people who made Fable's made like Lionhead. I don't even think Lionhead's even around anymore. But yeah, so
right. Very rarely do you see the same player, even star players, stay with the same team for
always
so
rotating.
long. But the company, the team, still continues on, right? Ultimately, people are cogs in the machine. I've said this many, many times. Look, I'm replaceable. Phoenix is replaceable. Blabs, everybody is replaceable, right? That's just the reality of it.
I agree with this to an extent. But some are harder to replace than others. You know, you'd be hard. And I think that's the biggest problem with Ubisoft. They don't have people who are hard to really replace. Nintendo has like your Miyamotos. They don't have a Miyamoto there. They don't have a Kojima or any of those people. At all. I think maybe the closest at the point was Michael Ansa, who created Rayman. He could have been the closest thing to being replaced, but he's not even there. He lived like in 2020, I believe. Yeah, so Ubisoft doesn't really have any type of superstar developers in there. So a lot of those people, again, could just all be shit canned.
In a company the size of Ubisoft, cogs will be replaced. Even the CEO will be replaced at a certain point. We see that with Disney. Disney's CEO is going to be replaced.
Nintendo.
Like Walt Disney, ultimately, people will argue he wasn't, but he was replaceable because the company has continued and grown into this multi-billion-dollar company, one of the biggest companies in the world since Walt Disney died.
But again, like I said, some are harder to replace than others. Like even Disney probably wasn't that easy. They still had to find their footing.
Right? His ideas were meant to be the core of the company, but he was a cog in what he created. And that's just the cold, hard truth of the whole thing. And I think this allows you to put better cogs to be a part of the machine and ultimately create better games, which is what they're looking to sell. So,
anyway. And I don't disagree with you. I think that it would be a positive for them to completely replace everybody that's there. I mean, obviously, there's going to be some people that fall through the cracks, and it always upsets me because there are a lot of people in the gaming industry that unfortunately have these big corporate heads over them that have an idea and they get lumped in with that, even though they actually want to build good stuff. They don't care about any of this crap that's being pushed. They're being vocal within their own companies, but they're still, at the end of the day, being squashed and having to deal with whatever just to make a career in the industry so they can eventually make something good. So I always feel awful when there's layoffs because there are a lot of people in the gaming industry that genuinely care and are just stuck in these shitty positions.
If they're good enough, and chances are they are, I will not be surprised that those good developers will find more jobs. It's not easy, but they will. They just got to keep at it. If they are good enough, they will definitely find a place again in the industry
to make the games. But at the end of the day, there is going to be a cleaning of house if they survive. And I think it is a good thing. They haul and find new talent, test out that talent, then have that talent be gone, find new people. Like, it's a really expensive process as well.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what Tencent or anybody is now wants to push. So you never know. That could definitely happen.
So You might make
Yeah.
more selling off the IPs.
Well, I'll say this,
Well, I wouldn't say selling off the IPs, just having other developers do it for you, even indie developers for smaller teams.
look at the chat. I posted a poll. Am I wrong? Right. And a lot of people are saying I am wrong. And
I don't
here's the
think
beautiful
you
thing
are.
about it is we'll see in about 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see in about 3 years. We'll
I don't think Craig is wrong.
talk about it then.
Well, at least not to a complete extent. I mean, it could be. I don't think he's wrong in that this is going to help the company, but I do feel like it is going to get rid of a lot of developers within that company. If not, they're going to be replacing with other people, or they're going to most likely just start giving these IPs, or at least licensing them, or letting smaller developers maybe making games for these IPs. At least that's what I think.
And I'll be able to look back at this poll and be like, hey,
At the worst, I think Ubisoft is mostly going to be eaten with from inside, and it's going to be a shell of its former self in terms of, developers.
you idiots. I was right, or whatever.
Yeah, suck it.
Or hey, I was a dum-dum. And if I was wrong, hey, it's the day that ends in Y.
I don't think your perspective is dumb though at all. It's really just looking at it in a business perspective and going, there is potential to actually make this work, and you hope that the business is also thinking in that way. So
You got to give it time.
I see the vision that you do, that it is possible. I just don't believe that they would be capable. That's it.
Well, I guess we'll find out together, won't we?
Yeah.
Yay! All right.
And like I said, I don't think this is a lot of this is Ubisoft's call on their own. It's Tencent, and Tencent's probably making these calls. But yeah, only time will tell.